This is Matt with Let's Talk Music. I'm here with Blevins of 13 South. And Mr. Blevins today is joining us from Cincinnati, but hails from the great state of Mississippi.
Oh yeah.
So 13 South is a hard Southern rock band.
Yeah.
New song out called Mississippi Way. I listened to it. I really dug it. I love the intro. Um, and something that one of my favorite parts of the entire song was how the piano and the guitar solo mixed together. That
Okay.
that was awesome.
Okay.
That kind of put me in mind of Skinner, which I'm a huge Skinner fan.
Okay. Yeah. That's kind of what we were going for. We've always been, being from the South, you can hear a little bit, even though we used to play a little bit harder stuff. We've always called ourselves hard ass rock and roll, but now, and we don't want to be considered, we're not metal, we're not hard rock, but we're harder than rock and roll. And then the newer stuff we're writing just kind of fell that way. Me and the bass player just I don't know. We've been together 27 years, 20 something. I can't remember how long. Anyway, since 1997. So writing and playing together in different bands and this and that and the other. And it just this is what it's turning into, you know, Southern rock. But it is still a little more edgy than you would say, yeah, Skinner and Molly Hatchet and oh gosh, I can't even Marshall Tucker Band, all that kind of stuff.
Right, right, right.
So, but we do want hints of that, because that's our roots, man. That's what we grew up on. So
So you and Bradley, the bass player, you guys
mhm.
had a band before called Voodoo 13.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's still pretty much the same band, but we got signed, and for some reason, we actually signed a deal with G4L Records, which stands
Mhm.
for Good for Life, and the name just kind of went more with the sound and everything we're doing. So that's kind of why we changed the name. And with Voodoo, you kind of pigeonholed in a way. Either people are going to look at it and go, "Oh, Voodoo, they're into Voodoo. We're not going to listen to that." Or
Right.
either it doesn't bother people, or either then you got some people who are like, "Oh yeah, they're into Voodoo." But and the name just came from us being from the South, right around in that area of Louisiana, Mississippi that you know did voodoo, back
Mhm.
in the day.
Right.
And the 13 came from, that's my favorite number, and that's when me and my wife got married, and not superstitious or anything like that. Let me take these glasses off. That now I can't see, but that's all right. It's better than having that glare. But so it's that's where it came from. That's our roots. That's our it's in our DNA. So that's what we went with. So
So you guys are based out of Magnolia, Mississippi.
yeah, yeah. Jackson, I was from Pearl, which is around Jackson,
Mhm.
Mississippi, and Bradley's from Magnolia, and we just thought, you know, uh, south, Magnolia, Mississippi. It's I mean, to be honest with you, that's what an exit, one or two exits from where Skinner had the plane crash.
Right.
So Gillian, I think it is, or something like that,
Mm.
Mississippi.
Right.
So you know, um, everything's just leads from that. So
Nice. Okay. So this here is like your guys' debut. Um, and your LP is Bend Don't Break.
right, right.
So with your with it being a debut, do you feel confident in putting out a full length album?
Oh yeah. We put out an album under the name of Unglued back in 2000. Me and Bradley with the help of our longtime friend Kurt Thomas on guitar, and actually Kurt played on some of this stuff. This on the new album. We put out an EP a couple years ago with and a couple of singles with Voodoo 13.
Mhm.
Um, put out an album in 2005. Um, no, it wasn't 2000. It was 1990. My bad. That's how long ago. No, I can't remember. Anyway, I'm losing my train of thought here. My brain. It is 22, isn't it?
It
So
is
yeah, it was 25 years ago. Oh wow,
almost
goodness!
23.
I keep saying I keep saying 2000 like it was just a couple years ago, but no, it was a long time ago.
Hmm.
So, but uh, but yeah, we feel very confident with putting out a full LP. A couple of them are rehashed songs from back in the day, and we did them acoustic. It's going to be three acoustic songs on the album, and then and they're slower. We want them to have that kind of swampy feel.
Hmm.
Um, and then there's three rockers on there, and not three rockers, excuse me, six rockers.
Okay.
So and three acoustics, so nine total songs.
The only reason I asked that is because a lot of the bands that I talk to are doing EPs,
Right,
and what they're doing is some of them aren't even doing that. They're just putting out singles.
singles.
And then they're like, okay, so we're going to do, a single, 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 and then we're going to release the EP, that way. And it was explained to me pretty well by somebody the other day that said, if we release an EP or LP, you get it all at once and you listen to it. And like 2 weeks after that, you're like, okay, on to the next
Yeah,
thing. He said, but if we release a single, you listen to it for, that 2 weeks and you get bored with it. And then bam, we're throwing another one in your face.
right.
I was like, okay, cool. That's, a good way to do the business, especially, nowadays that it's, all streaming and, everything like that. You don't have the cassettes, the CDs, the vinyl, which, I've said to everybody, vinyl's making a comeback. I've got me some vinyl and
Oh
I'm
yeah,
loving it. So, but that's the only reason I asked that question is, you know, because a lot of people are doing it that way. And, until he kind of broke it down for me, it didn't really make a lot of sense to me because I'm used to back in the day where, you know, you would hear one single off of the album and you're like, oh man, this is really good. And then you go buy the album and then you decide
exactly,
on it from there what you like, what you don't.
exactly.
So,
And and we thought about that, and here lately we did an EP 4 years ago. We did we put out a couple singles, and then we put out this single. But we decided since because we've been working on this deal with G4L for a while, and it was you know we could have done an EP if we wanted to, but he wanted us to do a full. But we're actually going to release another song in January
mhm,
as another single, and we're looking at February, April as the LP drops, but who knows? That may be another. Um, don't have the money to do professional videos. We did one a while back, but it's it's so daggum expensive. Being independent and on an independent label, eh, you know, it's it's still hard. It's still do it yourself.
right,
You know, you have money for this and that. Some PR stuff and this and that, but it's not like signing with a Geffen or
right,
Atlantic back in 87, 85, or whatever like that. Here's $2 million, go make an album, and then you pay it back. Um, we're pretty much self-efficient. It's
right.
just it's just expensive to do a video, but I would love to. I'd love to do one for every song, but it's not feasible.
Well, and
So
that's I mean, that's most of the bands I talk with are, DIY or
yeah,
they're with smaller labels. I've maybe talked to one or two that were major labels. Keith Wallen from Breaking Benjamin,
yeah, mhm,
he was getting ready to go out and do a thing by himself with the band Red. And I had a chat with him and but I mean I you know, I, videos. I know some guys have said, yeah, man, we dropped thousands into it, and other guys are like, man, we did our garage like or did it up in our garage. It cost us like $500,
mhm,
and I think anymore videos are just I think it's more of a visual for people that are watching it to say, okay, this is what the band looks like.
right.
I don't think it's like it was back in the days of MTV. You know,
No,
because back
no,
then, I mean, people, I mean, Christ, look at Michael Jackson's Thriller. How much money was dropped into that video?
yeah,
And there's nothing like that anymore anywhere. You
yeah,
know.
yeah. Well, and the thing is, with that being said, that that video helped sell the album.
Hmm.
That helped with album sales. Of course, they got royalties and stuff like that off the video, but it's not like that was the only thing. Now you get pennies, not even pennies, half pennies on streams, and you
Hmm.
even get less than that on video watches, on
Right.
YouTube. Um, so, but it's not to sell something. It's just to push, like you said, it's to get a visual of what the band looks like and people see. Um, we're still going to put out CDs. We're still going to put out vinyl, one day. Um, and it's expensive, but we want to, you know, um, we want to feel that everything, you know, um, not the nostalgia of everything, but just the whole experience. I mean, we've been at this 30 something years, and it's the first time we've signed with a deal, and so we want to feel it all. You know,
Right. Hey, I don't blame you, man. I mean, that was, another one that another guy I talked to. He said, we definitely want to press some vinyl. He says, because it's nice, 20 years down the road when, my band is no more or whatever, I can hold that and it's something tangible that I can say, I made this, you know.
right?
And I mean, to me, it's still kind of just really cool to get, something like that. Another band that I talked to said that they were actually thinking about doing cassette tapes and getting
Hmm.
in touch with like Sony or Panasonic or somebody like that and bringing the Walkman back and selling them as a set.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. That'd be cool.
And I mean, it's anybody who's lived, a good, 30, 40, 50 years knows that history repeats itself.
Oh yes, yeah.
And music's the same way,
Hmm.
So
Style, everything.
everything is all, streaming and digital right now. But I mean, you can walk into like we have a place here called Used Kid Records, or hell, man, you can walk into Walmart and see people flipping through the vinyl.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it still draws an interest. And my wife bought my daughter a record player, and I was like, oh my god, I was so jealous, And I listened to it, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. So she bought me one for Christmas. And the awesome thing about this thing is when you play it through, it's got two little speakers in the front of it. It looks like a
Hmm.
little suitcase.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Uh-huh.
it got two speakers in the front of it, and when you play it through that, it actually has the cracking and popping of the record like it used to be. It sounds
Right,
like that, and then you can turn it over to a Bluetooth speaker, and it sounds more modern.
right.
So you can actually, with this one device and this, vinyl, you can get the best of both worlds, however you like it.
Hmm.
You're a 15-year-old kid that never knew anything about that cracking and popping. You throw on one of these new records, you're listening to it through your Bluetooth speaker, you're like, yeah. I popped on Led Zeppelin and did it through both, and I was like, wow, the difference. It was like
Oh yeah,
night
yeah.
and day, and then it was like, man, that just takes me back, because I mean, speaking of Thriller, that was one of my first albums.
Okay, okay.
So,
Very cool.
it's really just I would love to see stuff like that make a comeback. I think it's going to be more like along the lines of how them guys were talking. I don't think that automakers are going to start putting CD players or cassette players back in cars. They're still going to have the satellite radio and everything, but I think it's more for us that grew up in that era.
Well,
And go ahead.
I see that, but I'm one of these guys I'm the glass half empty type guy. I'm and I'm so negative about certain things, but to me, what's going to happen when okay, the internet was only this big when they started, supposedly. supposedly. And now they got, and now there's this much stuff in something that's this big,
Hmm.
or it's it's grown or whatever, blah blah blah. You had to pay this amount of money. It was so expensive. Now, with a phone at $30 a month, when it used to be, I can't even remember what. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous before, you know. So when is it going to get full? Okay, they say it can't get full, but when is it going to get to where you can't add all that stuff to it and it starts getting more expensive again? People are going to have to have something to fall back on.
Hmm.
I don't know if that ever will happen, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, all my music, all my pictures, all everything, my whole life for 20 years is on the internet. So that sucks. My wife was talking about it tonight. She was like, God, I got all these pictures on Facebook. If Facebook ever, if somebody ever hacks my account and I lose it, they're all gone. And that's memories for 20 something years or
Right.
20 years, whatever it is, or close to 20. But I don't know. It's ridiculous.
It
It's
is.
crazy.
My wife's account just got hacked, and it took
Oh,
me.
God.
I mean, this girl that hacked her was like asking her family members for money, and
Huh?
she was selling these dogs and selling a couch in a washer and dryer. And I got on last night, and it took me an hour to get it back, but I finally got that chick kicked out of it and got hers back. Changed everything around in it so that it's secure. And Facebook's even taking extra measures. They kicked her off of it today and made her sign in again. So,
Mm,
but thankfully she didn't lose anything. It was just somebody pretending to be her. But
right, right.
but that's the thing is like you're saying. I mean, even something that has the highest security in the world has been hacked.
Oh, yeah.
And so anything can be hacked, and anybody can take over and impersonate you or whatever. So that's where this here thing is dangerous, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it's still, I feel like, I wish to God that I had back all the cassette tapes and CDs and stuff that I had ways to play them, because man, I know back in the day, I remember one in particular was Metallica Master of Puppets. I bought that tape and I ended up having to buy it again because I wore it out.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So
I've wore out a few vinyl. I've wore out many a tape, many a cassette tape. So, um, which I was born, you know, right when whatever that eight track
eight
was,
track.
was going out of style.
Right.
But but I still remember using them. So,
Yep.
you know, um, but yeah, everything's gotten smaller and the internet's gotten bigger. So I'm scared. But that's just
Well,
me.
I mean, but like a lot of these guys have said, I mean, your main source of income now is, you know, getting out there and playing shows and merch.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, I mean, there's always going to be people making, like I make shirts,
Mhm.
for my thing. I really haven't gotten a store up yet or anything, but I've got a sublimation printer that I can make cups,
Yeah.
um, there's always going to be people making this stuff. You can
Hmm.
always find deals on it. I mean, you can outsource it across the pond, and get them
Yeah.
for 10
Yeah.
cents a piece or whatever.
It may
But
take you 3 months to get it, but it's
right. Or, that ship sitting out in the ocean waiting to get into the harbor for, a year. But
yeah,
either way,
exactly.
I mean, merch is always going to sell. You're always going to have people that are like, man, that's a cool ass t-shirt. Or, like I've got I went to a Saliva concert, did an interview, and I got a signed shirt, an autographed.
That I had to pull this out.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I like that. That's nice.
Brand new shirts just got in. So
Yes. So see, I mean, there's, you guys have that to make your income, but it is still, I think that it put a dent in things when album sales start or stopped,
yeah,
because you had your merchandise, you had your album sales, you had, your touring, you had, there were so many different ways to make an income as a musician back in, the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. And I really blame, I kind of blame MTV for, the fall of a lot of things. Cause I mean, when MTV stopped, man, I mean, a lot of bands just kind of disappeared,
Yeah.
and like you and I said, MTV was a way of promoting, your music, a way of promoting your album. And now the way of promoting your stuff is like this, which, I'm very grateful to be a part of it. I love doing this. I love talking to people about music. But just like today, I was I read that this morning that Christine McVie passed away.
Yeah.
And I posted on my Facebook that the song "Hold Me" from Fleetwood Mac was actually the first video I remember seeing on MTV,
Really?
uh, from them. And I looked it up. That song came out in 1982. That was the same year MTV came out.
Right. Exactly.
So what I mean, it's something that stuck in my mind that many years ago.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah. Yeah. I mean, MTV was a game changer, you know.
yes.
And when it went away, like you said, when they quit playing videos and went to all that stupid stuff, it just, it crushed a lot of things.
Hmm.
Um, and th- and then Napster, I blame Napster for, you know, everything. I don't mind stuff being free, but you remember when people remember you used to get in trouble for recording a song on the radio and passing it on to somebody else,
Hmm.
um, or recording a tape that you got and passing it on to somebody else.
Right.
You know, um,
Copyright infringement.
yes, exactly. And now it's it's not free, but I mean, it's half a penny. It might as well be.
Right.
And the people that own the places are getting rich. So,
Huh.
because everybody else is paying $13 a subscription a month, and they ain't no telling how many people are on there. So that's, you know,
Oh yeah.
yes, that's a whole nother topic. But anyway. So
So like I was getting at with the touring and merch, what's in store for 2023? Are you guys getting out on the road and
yeah,
getting
yeah,
making
we actually got 9 shows in the books, had 10. One place just they double booked and told me, said, "Oh, well, we gotta rechange it, so we gotta change a date." But yeah, we're in Louisville, Kentucky. Actually, I got a show, acoustic show with the drummers this Saturday night, 2 nights from now. It's going to be up here where I live in Milford, Ohio.
Mhm.
But we're in Louisiana. I mean, excuse me, we're in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky on the 10th, Nashville, Tennessee on the 11th, and then Atlanta on the 31st of March. Had an April 1st show, but that kind of got canceled. Um, Gosh, I can't even remember where all we're playing. We're playing Louisiana, Mississippi, and Tennessee in April. May we're playing Louisiana, um, in Mississippi again. Yeah, so we got the first half of the year's pretty kicking right now.
Cool.
And we're weekend warriors because everybody's got a job and it's kind of hard to you can't we can't go on tour.
Right.
Um, and either the ones that are on tour made a lot of money back in the day and they can go on tour still now,
Hmm.
or they make money in a band.
Right.
And when you don't, it's tough.
Well, Cincinnati's got some pretty cool venues. I mean, you got Bogarts down there and
Yep.
whatnot. You got
Hard to get in some of those, but we're trying. We actually played the Thompson House in Covington, and I can't even remember where, another place, Epic Center Live, and a couple other places. So actually played in, I think, Dayton. So oh, in Columbus, the King of Clubs, I played there twice.
oh yeah.
So
When did you play there?
played there a couple of played open for Karabi one night,
Okay.
and his son plays in Rehab. We the band opened up for Rehab back. Actually, that was October of last year. So
Okay.
and this
That's
year,
a nice place.
Oh yeah, I love the place. Great stage, great sound, everything, man. It's a cool place.
Yeah,
So,
the
and
owner
the
is
people there are
actually
cool.
yeah, the owner is actually a he's a former member of X Factor One, a band.
Okay.
So he's all about promoting, I mean, he likes to get the big ones in too, but he's all about
Oh yeah.
promoting local bands and stuff like that. Like
Yeah, Wasp was last night there.
right. And then they have
Wanted to go.
I mean, but his prices are great too, man. You can get a cheeseburger and fries for like, $6, $7. You can get
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
beer for $4.55. It's not like these other venues you go to where you're paying, $30 for a beer and 20 for a cheeseburger.
Oh yeah. Bogarts is either $8 for a beer or 16 for
Mm-hmm.
draft. Two prices. I'm
Right.
like, yeah, I can't get drunk there because I can't afford it.
Right. But yeah, I love that place. That one and the Newport Music Hall. That's one of my favorites. It used to be the Columbus Algora.
I think I know where you're talking about.
It's on High
Um,
Street down by OSU campus.
oh, okay, okay. There's Top Cats here. There's so many places. There used to be a place called I can't even remember the name of it now, but now it's Riverfront Live. Used
Mm-hmm.
used to be Annie's.
Right.
Lots of bands played there, and but now it's whatever I just said, Riverfront Live.
Right.
Um, just so many places. Like you said, Bogarts, you got MVP Sports Bar. There's lots of places to go play around here. Ludlow Garage, which is you know, that's a that's an old place. It's very infamous. Um, wow.
No,
Yeah.
that's like that's
Tons
like
of places.
that's like the Newport here. It's the actually, and I forget who it was. It was a musician that I was talking to, and I had to prove it to him that it's the longest running or longest consecutive running rock venue in the United States.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Newport Music Hall. I mean, they haven't redone that place in years. It looks like it would have back in the 70s. I mean, my brother went and seen ACDC there in 1978 and got
Oh,
drunk
wow.
young. So that's how laid back that place was. But I remember I did a interview with a band and we went up to the green room and I walked across that stage, man, and I just got goosebumps all over, like thinking of all the people because I know the Doors
Oh, yeah.
played there. I heard the Grateful Dead played there.
Mhm.
Uh, a lot of just famous people that made history with music, and it's like, man, I'm walking across the same stage that these people were playing on. It's almost like just being all these ghost fingers touching you at once. You're like, whoa,
Well, that's
So
like the Villa Rosa or whatever it is
I'll
where
wrestle, yeah.
Dimebag. Yeah. I've been to one show there and I walked up, I actually got to walk across the stage and it was, it was very eerie
Mm-hmm.
feeling,
They
there.
tore it down.
Um, yeah, yeah, I know. That's so sad. Um, I don't know why there's not more shows at Scully's. Airborne just
Yep.
played there not too long. I wanted to go to that and couldn't make it. I you know, um, for some reason it's not in the cards to go to all these shows, but there are so many shows around here between here and Columbus and Dayton that is, you can go to a great show at least
Well,
once a
and
week,
that's
if
why
not twice.
I was talking about with the venues is because like you're mentioning all these places down in the southern parts. I was just like,
Mhm.
do you guys have any you know I guess desire or resources to come up towards this way?
We do, with the bass player being down there. I mean, he was supposed to be here this weekend to play with me, but his truck broke down. So, there's that. It's all, always adversity, but you just, you have to adapt and overcome it. But that's why we try to meet in the middle, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and do have, I thought I had something up here. I can't remember. Well, but yeah, would love to, trying to get in at the, what is that place called? The something house, Revival House over in Covington.
Okay.
Um, you know, um, Bogarts, it's hard to get in Bogarts,
Right.
especially to open up for somebody, and so you got to get in good. You either have to be in good with the promoter, or you can't even if you're in good with the band, it doesn't matter. The
Hmm.
promoter is the one that picks who opens up,
Right.
stuff like that. So that's kind of hard too,
It's a business.
exactly, it is. So unfortunately.
All right, buddy. Well, we are just about out of time.
Okay. Okay.
I do appreciate you talking with me this evening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anytime that you guys are going to make it up this way, I'll try to look you up, and we'll set up something, a live one or whatever.
Okay.
Even if it's in Cincinnati, I mean, shit, it's only an hour and 45 minutes from here, so
Right. Right.
being
I
a
go to I go to Columbus every 2 weeks anyway. So yeah. Just me though. But yeah, I'm over in Columbus about every 2 weeks. I actually go this Monday. So
oh, okay,
yeah.
yeah. So I mean, we'll get
It's
something
not
together.
far.
Yeah, we'll get something together sometime. You have socials for the band, right?
Yeah, yeah. Everything pretty much is just like the website is 13southmusic.com. Facebook is 13 South Music. Instagram, same thing on Twitter. And then, of course, it's just 13 South on all your social media platforms to listen to, like Spotify.
Hmm.
Um, oh gosh, iTunes Music and Apple, same exact thing.
Right.
We're on Deezer, and God, I can't even remember all the names of those daggum things, but we're on all those. And the thing is, if you like the song, buy it. You know,
Okay.
it's only $1. Um, you know, people don't. They just rather stream it. They don't want to put it on their computer. But I understand. I'm the same way. I support the crap out of Spotify bands.
Okay, well, I will. I'll get in contact with you through social media, and
Yeah. What's your thing?
my Facebook is Let's Talk Music. It's a Facebook
Okay.
page.
Okay.
There's a couple of us. Mine is more. It gives a description of, like, I do interviews with bands and this and that.
Right.
But I'll shoot you guys a request for my Let's Talk Music page. And
Okay.
then also,
Cool.
once I'll get this edited and up on YouTube, and then I'll send it to you guys. I'll send it to Shauna. You know,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Hey, I appreciate the heck out of it, man.
no
Um,
problem.
and being with a PR person like Shauna, that's gonna help us even more. We've never had that. So that's great.
She's
Um,
awesome, man. She's
I've worked with her before. I've actually done interviews like you're doing with other people through her,
yeah.
So yeah, it's good stuff.
All right, sir. Well, have a good evening, and we'll talk to you
Thank
soon.
you. Appreciate you, Matt. Have a good one.
Appreciate you. Bye.
All right, man.